Good morning. My name is Patty Hernandez, and I will be your moderator for this session. I'm here to support both you and the presenter, so if you have any questions or need help with the Zoom interface, you can use the chat icon at the bottom of your screen. Find my name, Patty Hernandez, and send a message directly to me, and I will do my best to help you resolve your concern. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ceara at this time. Thank you.
Hi there, thank you. Yes, so this is Ceara Torres, and I am going to be your presenter today. Go ahead and just give me a wave or a thumbs up if you guys can see this bit.ly link up at the side there. Can you guys see that entire link? So you should be looking at a PowerPoint presentation, or I'm sorry, a slides presentation, and then you should have this bit.ly link up at the corner there. If you go ahead and click on that link or type it into your browser, you will get a copy of this slideshow automatically. So you just go ahead and type that in and you will get a copy of the slideshow. Also, if you click over here, you can get an outline of the presentation if you would prefer a text version, all up to you. So a little bit about me. I am a high school art teacher at Heritage High School in the Perris Union High School District. And I've done some presentations before on 3D printing and sort of some more art related things. But I'm excited to talk a little bit about Google Classroom. One of the reasons, well, the main reason I'm doing this is because of my kids. I was talking to them at the end of last year, and I asked them for feedback on distance learning in general, and just how did we do? How did I do? How was the whole experience for you? And what would you like better? And a lot of the kids said that it was hard to navigate the Google Classrooms. And it was because maybe things just weren't organized in a way that when they looked at it, it made sense to them. So I'm hoping that after this session today, I can give you just a couple of tools. I'm just going to give you a few suggestions, and then we're going to create one banner that we might use for your Google Classroom. And that's about it. So it's going to be, kind of surface, but these are just some things to think about with your Google Classroom. All right, so here's the four main things we're going to cover. We're going to discuss with ourselves, what is the best way for me to organize our Google Classroom? Then we're going to talk about using topics and kind of different options for using topics and what might work for you and might not. Then we're going to talk about some other visual cues that we can employ within the Google Classroom to tip students off as to what's happening in those areas. And then we're going to make a banner to get students to the Classwork section of Google Classroom. And I'll explain that a little bit later as we go. As far as questions from you, I'm not seeing the chat at the moment, but if you leave questions, I will go ahead and look at that at the end when I'm done with the presentation. We can do Q&A at that time. So just hold any of your pressing questions or leave them in the chat. So the first thing that we're gonna ask ourselves is, what is the best way to organize our Google Classroom? So right now, I want you to kind of think about how you would usually organize your classroom when you're face-to-face. Do you organize it by units? Do you organize it by the week? This week, we're going to do this. If you have a calendar up in your room, does it look by the week, by the unit? How do you usually break it down? So consider this, and then also consider how is that going to change based on the setting. So even if you did organize your curriculum by unit, do you like the way that that would translate into the Google Classroom? Or would you rather, instead of organizing it by subject, chapter, unit, topic of study, or project, would you rather switch to day of the week, month, or grading period for organizing the classroom? Personally, as an art teacher, organize my classroom by project. And so when we were in face-to-face learning, even my Google Classroom was organized by project, because I kind of let it take however long it was going to take. So if we're doing a drawing project, it's taking some certain kids a little bit longer, you know, I would close off that project and move to the next project as they were ready, sort of a thing. But then when I switched over to distance learning, I found that organizing it by week so that they knew exactly what they had to do every week and every day made a whole lot more sense instead of organizing it by project. So think about those things when you go into this. So how do we organize the Google Classroom? Well, we use topics, and topics label sections in an organized manner on Google Classroom. And so let's go ahead. I'm going to show you a Google Classroom that I made for this presentation. And when you get there, so this, you might notice this banner up here. That's the banner we're going to make. It says click Classwork to see assignments. The reason for that is if you're in the stream, which is where you land when you get to Google Classroom, you won't see all of this organization that you're doing as a teacher. So in order for them to see how it's all organized, they have to go to Classwork first. And so that's something I really struggled with at the end of the year last year, was getting them to Classwork, because they would sit here in the stream and get really confused about what they were supposed to do, because it just houses it all like this. So when we get over to Classwork, then I have it organized by the week. And then I also have down here, you'll see daily tabs, and we'll talk about that a little bit in a second. So, but how do I create a topic? Well, you can go up here, you click the create button, and you can create a topic this way. So I can say, let's just say week 3, because maybe you don't want the dates in there. Maybe you just want it to say week 3. That would be okay too. So I'm going to add that topic. Now, I can go ahead and I can drag and drop things into that topic. So let's say I want to take my paper airplane project and I want to move it up to week 3 instead of the 3rd. So I can just drag and drop all of those assignments right into that topic. That's one way to organize by topics, which is pretty cool. In fact, I've been using Google Classroom for 4 years now. I did not know that I could drag and drop it into the topic until about a week ago. So there you go. I had no idea. So this is how I was doing it, which is another way to add it into a topic. I would go to create again, and then I would pick what I was going to make. So I might be making a question, an assignment, a quiz, a material, whatever. Let's say I'm doing a material. So I would add my material, and then over here, I can choose the topic that I want to add that assignment to while I'm making the assignment. Or I can create a whole new topic in that moment and add it to that new topic. So if I wanted to, let's say I wanted week 4, I put some art thingy up there like I usually do. And then I can create a doc or whatever for them. And I can go ahead and post that assignment. So now automatically under Classwork tab, week 4 has my art thingy in it, and I didn't even have to move it. Now, once I have my art thingy there, I can move it. I can still move it and change it after that. It's all up to you. So those are a few ways to deal with topics in Google Classroom. And it's really all up to you as to what you think is going to work best for you. Okay, so now we got the topic thing situated. I also, in addition to showing you, I did put a slide here that explains how to kind of do that. And then also I put this here because I wanted to show you that this is what it looks like over in the side as well. And you can go ahead and click on that. So like, let's say as a student, I just want to see week 3. I can open up week 3 and all of the assignments for week 3 are there. Okay, so I like that instead of having it just all in one place. Or I can go back to all topics lined up like this. Okay. All right. So other visual cues. One thing that kind of bugs me a little bit about Google Classroom is that I can't change like the color of my titles and the fonts of my titles and things like that. It doesn't have a rich text editor, and it doesn't have the pretty spiffy things that I would like it to have. So there's a couple of ways to get over that. So let's take a look at this slide right here. So you'll see that I have the week of this week actually, right? Or next week, July 27th to July 31st. And then I have all of the projects there. So if you look down here at the next option, I have the same exact thing. I have all of the little articles and whatever, but then I have Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. This one is a project they're going to start on Wednesday. So I went ahead and wrote in the title of the assignment the date, the day as well. And you can also be more specific, like the actual date. I just got out of another presentation where someone was talking about just using numbers. So 001, 002. And so that way, when you talk to the kids, you can address the assignment by number, or you could address the assignment by day. So when they come to you and say, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do for Wednesday, you go ahead and tell them it's under this week and it says Wednesday. Or, you know, if it's a number, you can tell them the number of the assignment. So let's go over to Classroom really quick, and I just want to show you where I'm adding that stuff. So in an assignment, of course, I'm just going to add it in the title. Wednesday art thingy, okay? And then I am going to go ahead and assign that. So now under week 4, I can go ahead and move my Wednesday art thingy and it says Wednesday. The only time where this gets a little bit different is if you're asking them a question, then you have to put Wednesday or Monday or whatever at the beginning of the question. So then you put Monday and then you put what art did you make over the weekend? And then you go ahead and ask that question. And I can pick the topic right here. Week 4, ask. And then we go to week 4 and it says Monday and then the question, because it's like when you're asking a question, it just has to be in the question. That's what I'm getting at there. Okay, so then let's take that a little bit further. What if I told you you could use some emojis to help with this process? So let me make this bigger because I'm realizing it's probably hard for you to see at the moment. Here we go. All right, so now we've got our days of the week in there. Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, good, good, good. Now over here, I have some emojis. They mean a specific thing in my classroom, and they're going to mean a specific thing in your classroom because you have to decide what kind of emojis you want to use and what you want them to mean. So go ahead and think for a second for me. How would you use emojis as symbols? Just start to think in your head, what could they mean on your Google Classroom? Okay, so here's a couple of ideas. I know you've probably come up with a couple cool ideas of your own, but emojis to code assignments. You can code for graded or not graded. So a lot of kids were telling me that they were having a problem knowing the difference between like, this is something I'm supposed to read and this is something I'm supposed to turn in that's going to be graded. So you can use emojis to tell the kids which assignments are going to be graded and which ones are not. You can also code the type of assignment, whether it's reading or writing. So you could possibly put an emoji of a book for a reading assignment and an emoji of like a pen or a pencil for a writing assignment. You can also code it by the day of the week. So instead of writing the day of the week, if there was a different color for every day of the week, you could definitely do that as well. No matter what you choose to do, you have to make sure that your kids know exactly what it means. So I'm going to show you how I took care of that problem. There's probably a few different ways, but this is what I liked to do. So over in the classroom, under classwork at the very top, there is an assignment that is not in a topic. And because it's not in a topic, it is at the top. And it says how to navigate this classroom. So it's just a couple of helpful hints. It says always look in classwork for assignments. Assignments and materials will be posted under weekly categories. There will be a date added to the title of each item so you'll know which day to complete the work on. Here is a key to help you with the emojis on assignments. So I have an exclamation point for graded assignments so they know that those are something that they have to turn in for credit. And then I have this little palette to show them that this is a project and it's a longer activity that's going to be worth more towards their grade. And of course, I'll have those grading things in my syllabus as well, but this is just to kind of, you know, show them right here on Google Classroom what they're working with. Okay, so how do I add emojis though? So let me go ahead and show you really quick that I have a slide that shows you. So we're gonna go to emojipedia.org. We're gonna copy our desired emoji onto the clipboard and then we're gonna paste it in the assignment title, or you can also paste it in the topic title. And then of course, we're gonna throw ourselves a little party because we now know how to put emojis into our classroom. And I was super excited when I figured this out. I've been wanting some sort of visual cue on my Google Classroom for a long time, and I was just so stoked when I figured this out. So there's two different websites you can go to. There's emojipedia.org, which is all that's working for me right now. I don't know if I have an outdated, like I need to update or whatever, but emoji copy didn't work last night. So I went ahead and I changed over to this one, which is Emojipedia. And so, you know, you can see all of the different optional emojis. There are a bazillion. There's my little question mark, double exclamation mark. There's all sorts of like numbers, letters, whatever you want. They even have Japanese. Okay, so let's say I want to use a red heart. Why not? Okay. So then I come over here and I press copy. I clicked on my red heart. It took me to the red heart thing. The cool thing about Emojipedia is that it explains what they mean, all of these different things. So what they mean on social media, which I think is kind of cool. And some of the emojis have dual meanings that you might not know about. So check it out before you go ahead and put it into your Google Classroom. Okay, so I went ahead and I copied that to the clipboard. I'm going to come over here to week 4 and I'm going to rename it. And when I rename it, I go ahead and paste my heart right in there. And now week 4 has a heart. And I can do that up here in the topics, or I can do it down here. And so this is what some of the assignments I made look like. They have little emojis, and then this one's got a little black heart. I like that one. So yeah, that is emojis and how to use those. Now here's the trickiest part, right? You're gonna do all of this work. And then if your kids go to Google Classroom, like I mentioned earlier, they might be in a situation where they see this and not your nice, organized, beautiful Google Classroom. So in order to fix that, we are going to make one of these banners up here. And over in the slideshow, you will see I have steps written out for you on how to make the banner on Google Drawing. That's one thing you can do. You can also go ahead and click on this banner here, click on it, and it will open up that drawing. It will give you a copy of that drawing, and you can just edit the one I have. So for the sake of simplicity, actually, you know what? No, I'll go to drawing. We have some extra time. So I will go ahead and go to drawing and show you how to do this. We can use the banner. Okay, we'll use the banner I have. But I can go ahead and I can delete a lot of this and show you from kind of the beginning. So let me just make a new one. Sorry, this is the first time I've presented this particular presentation. I don't know why it's not letting me. Huh. That's weird. So anyways, when you open up drawings, you're going to go ahead and you're going to tell it that you want it to be 250 by 1,000 pixels, not inches. That would be crazy big. And then you can start changing things around. So when you right click on your drawing, it will let you change the background. So like I can change the background to purple. I can also add shapes. So if you go up to insert, you can insert a shape. I like a rectangle over in the corner. And the reason I like a rectangle over in the corner like that is if we go over here to Classroom, do you see how this information is over here? I like to kind of visually keep it separate. So I put this red rectangle over on this side so that the class information sits there. And then this looks like sort of a separate image. So I do that. And then let me show you how we go ahead and insert all of the text and the arrows and the Bitmoji. So insert another shape. Call outs is the section where I got that little jaggedy part there. And then in order to change the color on these drawings, so you have to go to the border color, and I just make it transparent so you can see now it has a black border, but I'm going to take it off. And then I can change the fill color with the paint bucket. So I can make it green, blue, whatever. I had mine blue like that. And then I'm going to insert another shape. I'm going to go ahead and insert an arrow pointing up. But the big question is, well, where do you put the arrow? Because I don't know on, like, if I look at it here, I can't tell what it's pointing at over here. So what I did is I went ahead and I looked at how wide this entire thing was. And so this is basically the center of my image. And it's literally just a smidge to the left of center. And by visualizing that, it's a little bit to the left of center. I came back over here. And when I drew my arrow, I took a look at the whole thing. Like, okay, there's that. And it's just a little bit to the left of center. So if this is the whole thing, this is the center over here, and we're just a little bit left of center. Okay. So then I need to go ahead and insert a text box. And I am going to click Classwork. To see assignments. Whatever. Okay. Now I can resize that. I can also go up here and center it. And now it's there. And I can see it okay here. Like I can see the click classwork to see assignments text okay here. But remember, when you go over and you upload this banner, it's going to put like a shade on it. It like tints it, almost like you would tint your windows. And so if I leave it too dark, I need enough contrast so that they're going to really be able to see it. And so I like to turn this bold and get it as big as I possibly can, and then also make it white on the blue background. So like that's a little bit better there. So click Classwork to see assignments. Now, adding a Bitmoji, if you do have Bitmojis, you could add any picture you want, or you could leave it without a picture. I just like to keep it a little bit more interesting. So I come over here to Bitmojis, and here's my little dino Bitmoji. I am going to copy that image, and then I'm going to come down here and paste it. And I can make myself bigger or whatever. I love this one. It makes me happy to see myself writing a dinosaur on my Google Classroom. So there's that. All right, now I want to go ahead and use this banner. So I'm going to go over here to File, and then I'm going to download it as a JPEG. So it downloads to my computer, and then I come back to my Google Classroom, and it's going to say upload photo, and then you are going to select a photo from your computer. My period 0 banner is right there. That's my new one I just made. And then I can make it fit. So if I were to have left that like this, then that's all that would go up on the banner. And I want the whole banner there. So I'm going to go ahead and open it so it's the entire banner. And then I am going to make that the class theme. And there it is. So there's a new banner, and that is what it looks like for you. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left. I want to see the chat, and I'm not sure how. From the moderator, do you think you could kind of walk me through how I see the chat since I'm presenting? Am I allowed to do that? How do I get to the chat?
Maybe if you stop sharing your screen, you might be able to see it, because for us, it pops up on the bottom of our screen for chat.
Got it. Okay, so if I stop sharing. All right, well, before I do that, then let me go back over to the slides. Or no, I guess that's good. We're good. Okay, so let's see if I can see chat now. Yes, I can. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start scrolling through. How do you delete topics? Okay, so basically, let me go ahead and share again. How do I delete topics? So over here under Classwork, these three little dots over here, you just delete it like that. So if you want to get rid of the topic, you just delete it like that. And it goes away. Now, what it also does is it doesn't delete your assignments when you delete the topic. So it just drops those back up at the top. Okay. So you can get rid of those topics whenever you want and put new ones in. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing and take a look back over at the chat, just see how much I can get to. Did I create another topic with how to navigate the classroom? This question is from Laura Martinez. No, I didn't create another topic. I simply left it topic lists. So it is currently the only assignment in my classroom that doesn't have a topic, which means that it just puts it up at the very top of the classroom. And so that makes it so that people can read it. Yes, so Jenny, I hope I'm saying that right. Jenny Mayer, you said that if you use Kahoot or other class game or quiz, you can screenshot the results and use that as a weekly banner to motivate students to play and do better with each game. Another thing that I did during distance learning is I went ahead and I took a class poll every week to help me with attendance. And it was just silly questions. It was something goofy. And then I would take a screenshot of the results from that Google form, the little pie chart, and I would post it on my Twitter. And so I just really liked the way that that kind of engaged the rest of the teachers and my admin, and like knew that I was, you know, doing the things as it were. But then also it pulled the kids over to the Twitter too, because sometimes I post just like silly art history things or something I find on Twitter that I think people might enjoy. And that really drug the kids over to the Twitter as well. So I thought that was really cool. So yes, Canva does have an easy option for banner creation as well. I like them both, you know. There's all different ways to create those banners. Just as long as it's that right size, that right aspect ratio, then you're good to go. That's all that you really need. Yeah, and if you just type Google Drawing into your browser, it gets you right there. I have a Google phone, and every time I say something about Google, my phone lights up because it wants to help me. And I'm like, oh, no, I wasn't talking to you. Okay, if I archive, can students access the archive files, or do I only have access? That's a really good question, but as far as I am aware, only you have access to that. I have never encountered that personally, so I'm not completely sure, but as far as I know, it's only you that can do that. So if assignments aren't deleted when a topic is deleted, then I must individually delete them if I no longer want them showing on Classroom. That is correct, yes. So, sorry, you will have to, sorry that I did that. Yeah, you will have to individually delete them. Is there a way to select the color scheme for each classroom and use the banner as well? Mine all show in black. Yeah, no, there's not right now. So when you put up the banner, it just gives you a color. And mine have all been black when I use these banners. But if I use like a picture from the web, like last year I had like a picture of spilt paint or colored pencils or something, then it seemed as though it was picking the color that was most present in the image. So if the majority of the image was purple, it made the theme of the classroom purple. So I don't know how it does that or what it's picking, but it won't let you change the color, which is a bummer. What would you say to a teacher that is annoyed by all the student documents that show up in their Google Drive recent views? Some teachers are irritated that they can no longer find their own recent files through the sea of student files submitted through Google Classroom. Okay, so we've only got a couple more minutes, but let me go ahead and share something really quick. So, like when I go to my drive, you can have different workspaces. So you can create a workspace. So this would be like my period 1 workspace. And I go ahead and I put files there that I'm frequently using with period 1, and that does not disappear. So let's say I'm not, but let's say I was using this file frequently with period 1. So it's almost like you're pinning your own files up to your workspace. And that's cool because I might have so I have a folder with all of my lessons for Art 1, but I might be working on something different with the kids in period 1 versus period 2 or whatever. And so that can be helpful. I'm going to stop sharing again so I can see over here. The hyperlinks on the Bitly. So when you go and you make a copy of my presentation, it doesn't work.
Exactly, it's not hyperlinking over.
So like so like this one, hold on, it's loading. That is weird. That should have had something, and then the drawing should have had something. Okay, so the drawing is there and working, but the outline isn't. Okay, well the outline is also, if you want to get to that outline, because that's the only other thing that's really hyperlinked, you can go ahead and it's in the schedule, in the sched. I have it so you can get the PDF version from there. Okay, folks, well, we've only got a couple more minutes. So unless anybody has any other questions, also, you can always go and follow me on Twitter, and you can ask me any kind of questions there. If I know the answers, I will help you. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day. Oh, someone said something about Bitmoji Classroom. So how can you incorporate that? I've been trying to figure out kind of the same thing, and the best idea I have for incorporating a Bitmoji Classroom, Veronica Palacios, nice to see you. The best way for incorporating a Bitmoji Classroom that I can think of is if you're doing a slideshow that takes kind of like hyper slides where it takes the students through the assignment step by step on the slides, then your opening slide could be that little Bitmoji Classroom, and then you can have like links within that they click on.
Hi, this is Lauren. I was the one that asked you about the Bitmoji Classroom.
Oh yeah.
So I'm wondering, could we potentially use an image on Google Classroom and they would select the image and then kind of walk into the virtual classroom, so to speak, and select assignments within Bitmoji Classroom that you've already hyperlinked?
Yes. So, wait, okay, so you're saying, say it one more time because I think I'm confused.
So when I look at the Google Classroom, you have your topics assigned. So week 3, let's say, for example, rather than listing art period thingy, could we have an image of a Google Classroom and have that listed as language arts? And then the student would walk into that language arts classroom, that your Bitmoji Classroom, which then has hyperlinks embedded within it that would take them wherever you needed them to go for different assignments or reading or videos, so on?
Yeah, so that would be really cool, except for that Google Classroom, when you go to create the title of the assignment, it just allows text. So what I think you're talking about is you would like there to be like an image there that they can click on. And
Exactly.
Google Classroom does not do that. However, Google Sites does. So if you wanted to make a Google site for that week, you have them click from Google Classroom, they click the assignment and it just links them over to the site. And now your site has your Bitmoji Classroom and your links and all of that right there.
Got it. Okay, so then we would probably create a link through sites and then use it that way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Well, everybody have a great day. I don't know if the moderator can tell me, do we end the meeting or how do you want to?
You can go ahead like you are and saying end, and then I will click on end for you
Okay,
whenever you're ready.
Okay, and I'm just clarifying because I hope I got the time right. It was 12:10, correct?
No, actually 12:20.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay. Well, I can still be here to answer questions for the
Okay.
next 10 minutes. Tom.
Great job, Ceara.
Oh, thank you.
This is Tom Ashley.
Yeah, Tom, nice to see you or hear from you. Would you lose the grading of Google Classroom if you did it on Google Sites? Yeah, you might actually. That's true, because if you build it on a Google site and you take them to the links, then it wouldn't grade it for you. You're correct. Where do you start your Google Classroom? Okay, let me go ahead and share again really quick. That's just not something I had put in there, but I definitely can help. Okay, so if you go to classroom.google.com. Oh no, that took me to period 0, darn it. So when you're in Classroom, you should land someplace that looks kind of like this, only yours might be blank because you've not made one yet. And then you go ahead and you click this plus sign and it'll say create or join a class. So your kids, when they join your class, they'll click join class and then they'll put in a code that is generated by Google Classroom for you. But since you're creating the class, you click here. And then you can put the name, the section, the subject, and the room that you're in. I don't always put all of those. Sometimes I just like put 2. So you can arrange it by period. I kind of like that. And then section. So for me, I teach 3 different preps. So I teach Art 1, Art 2, Art 3, and then AP. So 4 preps. But so I always put the section as what I'm teaching. I like that it says period whatever at first, because then the kid knows that that's their first period class. And then create it. And then this is your Google Classroom. So it created a whole new one. And then you get to Classwork and you start from there. Now, adding kids to your classroom, because I'm assuming like if you are new to starting a Google Classroom, then you're going to want to know how to add kids into it. So what I do is I just give them this code, but that's when we're in a physical classroom, right? So it's going to be hard to give them a code when you don't have them in your classroom, unless you were to email all of them their code, which you could do too. You could make a group email in Gmail, and you could email it out to their addresses that way, depending on what resources you have. You can also invite students. So you go ahead and type in their email, or you start typing in their name, and their email should pop up if your district should have that up there. And then you just invite all of the kids that you need in that class. And when you press invite, it will send them an email, and then they just click the link and it goes ahead and puts them into the classroom. And then you can also invite guardians as well. So once you get students in your classroom, there will be an option over here on the right to invite parents. And especially in distance learning, that's a really cool idea. When I was in the face-to-face classroom, I mean, it wasn't as essential as it is now, but I like that feature. There's no grades in this one because it's brand new, but this is where you start assigning your work here. And you just create your assignments there. I'll stop sharing so I can see. That's interesting. When I copy and paste my Bitmoji, it has a white border. How do I make the Bitmoji transparent so there is not a white border around it? If we go to drawings, when I copy my Bitmoji, I've got to present it for you. When do I use Stream? I never use Stream. I hate Stream. It's like the bane of my existence. I don't like Stream because it works like Facebook, where all of your assignments that you've posted just get posted in order that you put them up. And I don't really like that so much. If you're using scheduling assignments, it can work because the most recent thing that you scheduled will be up there. But other than that, it's kind of silly, and I don't really like it. So I'm going to take this Bitmoji and I am going to copy it and paste it here. And see, mine doesn't have a white border, so I don't, but if you want to make it transparent, you should be able to go into format options, and then you should be able to do adjustments, and you can make it transparent just like that. So you can make it as transparent as you want it to be there. Okay, so yeah, I guess 12:20 now, which was the official end time. So now we're really going to say goodbye. And you guys have a really great day. Thank you for coming. And yeah, I hope you got something that you can use for your class, like especially that banner. That's really a cool thing to have to help them get into their classwork.
Thank you, Ceara.
All right, have a good one.
You do the same.